Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Resurrection, an Orzhov Reanimator deck loaded with weapons. We have removals, a sweeper, and some utility men to help us gain an advantage on board. We're loaded with powerful men to play out and dominate the game. We've got a few different ways of getting men from our grave and to the board, and a couple of them include being able to get enemy men on our side. We've got men that are difficult to deal with to pressure the opponent. We go in hard and reap the benefits of dead men. We start off with 4 copies of Skrelv's Hive. Originally, we were using tokens to help reanimate men in our grave, but when that strategy didn't pan out, we kept the Hive as it was a very effective tool to press the opponent. As a turn 2 play, the Hive can be a win condition on its own. We're not out to win with an army of lads, but if the opportunity presents itself, we'll take it. Bitter Triumph is a powerful removal in this deck, as it allows us to destroy an enemy man or an opposing planeswalker for only 2 mana. As a bonus, the Triumph allows us to discard a card as part of its cost. We can use it to toss one of our big men into the grave to fetch out later. If we don't have a card we'd like to toss, we have the option of losing 3 life in order to fire off our removal. Feed the Cycle is another fantastic removal that we can use on enemy men or opposing planeswalkers. If we need to, we can forage and pay only 2 mana to fire it off, but even at 3, it's an excellent removal. Split Up is our sweeper. We can leverage its 2 modes to impact the opponent's board more than ours. It won't hit all men on board, but all we need is to cut the opponent's forces down enough to let us take over. The Preacher is a fantastic card as it helps us draw or generates token men with lifelink. He even has Death Touch to take out men that would survive an encounter or to take down bigger men. The Dark Knight is another powerful weapon we have in our arsenal. It's difficult to take out with removals as it will turn into a land that we can then transform back into the Dark Knight later on. The discard can be crippling to an opponent, and if they are out of cards, we'll get a draw every time we send in the Bat God. And add in the lifelink, and the Dark Knight is a monster all his own. Sheoldred is one of our ways to get men back from the grave. When she enters play, she doubles as removal, but what we really want to do is flip her into the True Scriptures. This way, she immediately takes out an enemy before she brings back all men on our side a couple of turns later. GG's opponent, thanks for coming to the big show. The Invasion is another way we have to resurrect one of our fallen men or one we put in the grave. It's a great reanimation tool that we can also flip over to get the Broken Sky and have it generate token men with flying. Note that we can get any non-battle permanent from our grave, so we can get back a Hive if we feel that is the best way to pressure the opponent. Vein Ripper is one of our big men that is hard to deal with. His War ability effectively works as removal and will immediately trigger his Drain ability. The Ripper is one of those men we will want to reanimate as early as we can to take advantage of his powerful abilities and stats. The Black Virtue is so good, it's almost in every deck we build with black. It's great removal early, and then turns into an amazing resurrection tool late in the game. Fleshy is a flexible man that we can play early as a 3/3 or later for its full size. If we get it from the grave, we'll get him at full power. He might not be as powerful as some of our other men, but his lifelink will let us stay in the fight longer. Lord Voldemort is in our cast of characters as well. He's the biggest of the big guns, with his ward ability making him very difficult to deal with, and his ability to steal the opponent's cards will help us take over the game. If we can reanimate him early with an invasion, we can take the game quickly. For lands, we're playing 3 Shadowy Backstreet, the Orzhov Surveil land, 3 Restless Fortress, the Orzhov Manland, 3 Forlorn Flats, the Orzhov Desert, 8 Swamp, and 7 Plains. Playing the deck is fairly simple, as you'll want to eliminate any early threats with removals, then build up lands to play out bigger and bigger men. An early Hive can distract the opponent and make them scramble for solutions while we work on building up to a reanimation, or work on getting the lands we need to play out something big. A lot of our men can help end the game, but together we can dominate the board. Use the Modal Sweeper to maximum effect whenever possible, as that can create lopsided boards, with us having a huge advantage. The mid and late game essentially blend together, as we're usually trying to get one of our men in play from the grave or land it from our hand. For upgrades, consider taking out the Hive for mana artifacts, or maybe even Phyrexian Arena for consistent card draw. Or bring in a utility card like Make Your Move to help out against powerful artifacts, enchantments, or opposing big men. If we do have a weakness, it's our early game where we can field removals or one of our 3 mana men. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Aragorn, son of Arathorn. No wait, it's Golem. Where's your precious? We're kicking things off with a 3-lander. We've got a Hive as well as a Preacher and our Sweeper in case things go sideways. This looks good. As we like to say around here, keep your pants on. They plopped down a Wormlet, the little guy that could, giving it another go since it was good at one point. We'll play out the Hive and test their enchantment removal skills. If we go unchecked, the lads could come out in force and threaten to end the game with only 10 hits. They play out a Heaped Harvest, but they should have played out a Synthesizer. That's where your deck should have gone, bro. We'll go with a Preacher here. That could hold off the Worm, and maybe generate some token men as well. Okay, a Braids was completely unexpected. We'll have to see if they want to trade their men off for our Preacher. They sacrificed their harvest, but we've got an artifact we can let go. Sorry, lad, but you're taking one for the team. It's time to send in the Preacher. Block up, bro. Block with everyone. Don't take the hit. There will be no trades coming, unfortunately. That's fine. We'll play out the other Preacher and hold what we got. Men that generate artifact tokens is the way to go, but they're all rather weak. Surely there have to be stronger plays. Too many Preachers, apparently, and one has got to go. With only one blocker up, they don't swing in for damages. We've got a Plains on top, but that's fine. If anything, this deck loves getting up to 5 mana or more. It's when we can't get there that we might struggle. All right, let's get in for hits. They didn't block last time, but maybe now they'll be more willing to make a trade. They only blocked the token. He was going to die anyways, so at least we got a life out of the poor fella. Time to split up. We'll take out their whole team while we get to keep the Preacher. Oh, so deep down inside they are an insidious roots deck. So all the men they've played up to this point don't make sense in their deck. We'll eliminate the shenanigans from happening. Get gone, girl. Then we'll send in the Preacher. Bro has 1 card left in hand. What is it? They beseech, but what could they get? Removal? Or a way to dig their men back out of the grave to trigger their roots? Another Tyvar? A scavenger's talent? They're kidding, right? That's not gonna cut it, bro. Let's snipe their wormlet while the talent is still in the air. And now that they've got no cards in hand, the Dark Knight is going to be brutal. It'll pull us ahead, and we'll get draw from it and the Preacher. Should have used Beseech to get a sweeper. They make a treasure, but a token fish might have been a better idea. If we activate our land and send everyone, that should do the trick. Let's get out of here and on to the next game. GG's Golem. Nice try there. This is Luke E. from IT. No eyes needed here, am I right, bro? We get the Shuffler special with loads of removal. The hope is we draw into a third land and can play out the Preacher, which might be able to get us an extra draw or two. Keep. No way, they're Gruul mono red. Mono red by itself isn't good anymore, or what? Now we have 4 removals. If anything is going to happen this game, men will die, that's for sure. But maybe not our men so much as theirs. Oh, nice. Is that a big one? Is it beefy, bro? Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and take it out, and we'll toss Lord Voldemort in case we get a way to reanimate him later on. A Hive might be kind of bad in this matchup, but luckily we have a Preacher we can play out. Get in there, bro. A chicken. They're playing all the mono red stuff. That's pump for their chicken, and they actually pump it a bit more for big damages. Sure, bro, that's a nice hit, but you're down to 1 card in hand. Let's get in there with the Preacher. He'll make us a lifelink token that we can use to block their spear guy unless they want to use a removal on it. We'll hold up removals if they go for some seriously damaging plays. They tap out for the adventure portion of a Picnic Ruiner, which would make their chicken a 5/5, but that is an oopsie poopsie. We can snipe the chicken, and that will eliminate the target for the Picnic Ruiner, and both will end up in the grave. Had they not been greedy and given a counter to their spear guy, they'd have been able to keep the Picnic Ruiner. We draw a fleshy, and that will be our play this turn. We'll send the Preacher and get a token. At this point, they're going to need a board wipe. Is there one in red and green? Another chicken makes its way down, but 1 point of damage is useless. Without a hand, they have not much they can throw down in the way of pump, send everyone, that's how we show we're not afraid of what they got. Damages, bro. Damages. We've turned the tables. They bring down a 3/3 of their own, but we'll snipe it and block up with our token. That's all they can handle, my friends. GG's, Luke E. I think he meant double agent, but he spelled it all wrong. Oopsie poopsie, bro. We get a 3-lander with a 3 removals and a Dark Knight. The removals should keep us alive, while we get the other 2 lands we'll need to play out the Bat God. Keep your pants on. Alright, surveil land, show me what we got. I can't say no to an invasion. They're a bat player. If you're going to play it, at least play it with duress so you can hit a removal first and maybe the bat lives long enough to get in some hits. With 3 removals in hand, good luck, bro. Sometimes I don't bother sniping enemy bats, but our removals are kind of key early on while we draw into lands that I don't want to let them keep their flying rat. They go for a heist and even give us a draw. I'm not sold on this card at all. I've not even played it once. I'd rather play Pilfer or Ruthless Negotiation. If you absolutely have to play while knowing what the opponent has in hand, play Pilfer. They took the invasion, but we don't have men in the grave, and neither do they. Did they pick randomly? I would have taken a removal or the Sheoldred. Let's see if they play removals or if their discard pile is trash. That's a fleshy coming on down. Not bad. We'll snipe their fleshy. I don't think they would have blocked, but we would have to get rid of it anyways at some point soon. The fleshy is why they took our invasion. They can use it to get it back from the grave. They play out another fleshy, but they've gotten themselves stuck on 3 lands. We get our 5th land, and we'll play out some painless removal. Get gone, girl. So they are packing removal. It's too bad they're falling so far behind. We'll double up on Preachers. Double the draw seems good. Bro gives it up. That's too many Preachers, and he's not into religion. GG's. This is Prince Rupert. No, wait, it's Prying Uppert. What a name, bro. We get a 4-lander with a removal and a fleshy. The sweeper we won't be able to play until we get a 2nd white. Keep your pants on. There's our 2nd white, right on time. We can play it out and hit them for another point. What the heck? Is this mono red with weird lands? If they are, they'll love to see our fleshy. They're actually Boros, but they've got a slow hand? A Lightning Helix takes out our fleshy. It looks like their removal lines up well against our guy. They play out a war leader's call, so it looks like they should be on an aggro plan, but so far they haven't played any men. With 3 Dark Knights, we have to play 1 out. They're going to need a good set of removals for our bat gods. They use a board wipe to take down our Dark Knight. That's 1 out of the way. We get a Vein Ripper, but as good as it would be to play out, they might be loaded with removals and wipes since they haven't played any men. Let's play out another Dark Knight and see if they more ammo. Get in there, bro. No Witnesses is their next sweeper, but that one gives us a clue token. Once again, we'll go with another Dark Knight. They've got a handful of destruction, so we'll keep forcing them to play what they've got. The clue token they gave us drew us an invasion. That will be something we can put to use since we have a fleshy in the grave. They are forced to fire off some burn to take out our Dark Knight. With targeted removal being used, we know they're out of sweepers. Time to get the Ripper on down. Burn or targeted removal is not going to work against him. Better start saying your prayers and eating your vitamins, bro. The Ripper wants blood. They get a Sarah Paragon, but we've got a pair of removals in hand we can use to take out their flyer. A Preacher is not bad. We'll swing in for damages, then we'll play him out. Another Paragon, but we have another removal to take it out. We'll pay the 3 life, but with the Ripper, we'll lose only 1 point. With so much of an advantage, I want to be cautious here since they could draw into a sweeper and we'll lose out big time, but let's go for it. If they don't have a sweeper, then targeted removal might be too painful with a full-size fleshy in play. A second War Leader's call, and they follow it up with a Midnight Mayhem. That is definitely some pain, but we have a big fleshy. They got us down to 3, but we're about to refill our life total and clear out their token men. The Modal Sweeper comes in huge and we can clear out their men while ours are still fine. Let's get in for damages. Damages, bro. Damages. They've got too much removal and not enough men. That's the only problem unless they drew badly. GG's, bro. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.